Why, hello there. So, welcome. And of course, today's video is going to be about the two questions that the Ask Me Anything questions off of Facebook. As you probably already know, our great friends over in the developers are answering questions. And this is kind of one of the first times that they've ever gone around, you know, answering questions. And so, one of those questions was, will the star map territory be expanded in the future, and will you be able to use the rotation on the star map? Are there any other star map updates? Was one of the questions. Of course, there were some discrepancies in their response, but let's go off with the first one, which is to say that the star map is an important lodgement area for your offensive operations, and we are constantly checking if it is following our commander needs. We have optimized zooming function in our last update to make your star map experience more smooth. However, we are not planning to add star map rotation function at the moment, as we're afraid it will be too hard to navigate through it. If you are always welcome to share with us your other optimization suggestions through customer support, or if through the hashtag suggestion channel in the Discord. We are going through those channels regularly, and if possible, realize your suggestions in the game. You can check our monthly newsletter for details. So, I will just say one thing to this effect, which is to say that I don't know what benefit you would gain from rotating around, but if there's anything I have a gripe for, it's that when you zoom out, right? You notice this like, okay, so you zoom here, okay, you see this. Zoom here, you see this. Zoom here, you get like close fractional detail, right? I think it would be nice if in this mode I could see these details. I want to know, okay, what is exactly here? Is this guy? Like, I have to go into this mode to see that. But in this mode, I have no idea. I just know that there are ships there. That's a tiny thing, but it's like, okay, good enough. If it's a tiny detail that at the end of the day I don't care, but where it matters, right? Is now if I go here, all of a sudden ships appear. Do you see what I mean? It's a bit deceiving because you can see it like if I move away and then I come close, then ships appear. But if I go up and move away, you see what I mean? That is that if I could improve the functionality of anything, that would be what I would change. Because you can see that's not consistent. And even it's like, okay, yeah, sure. All right, you zoom in, you see where somebody is, but it's like an unnecessary fog of war that I don't need, don't want, and don't care. Like, provided it's telling me where PvE targets are, it's not telling me very much about PvP targets so much. That's a tiny thing, but I'd rather be able to see where those guys are throughout and even have like this level of information at this distance. But you see how even though I'm tabbing in and out. Anyway, long story short, that's if I had to make a suggestion, that would be my suggestion on that front. Now, the second question is, will there be any new extensions for the game's soundtrack? Will new heroes have voiceovers, and will there be voiceovers for other languages? And their response to this was that we are constantly optimizing in-game sound effects to ensure that you are getting the right vibes from Lost Crusade. Our new heroes will definitely have their own English voices with time, but for other languages, it is a little bit more complicated than it may seem. We can add those voices only if they match the official version of voices of those characters in other languages. Meaning that if, let's say if they should have previous appearances in other IP holder distributed materials. I guess in short, it's that they've got, they're tied up with IP, but wait, uh, yeah, I mean, in short, that's pretty much the gist I got, at least from that. But yeah, anyway, as far as on that front, right, which is the question of, okay, voice soundtracks, are they gonna add anything? Is there anything major on that front they're gonna change? It sounds like they're constantly optimizing and stuff along those nature, but overall, the resounding answer from this is, at least in a gist anyway, is that they're kind of strictly following the IP and what is allowed within the IP. So I guess, which, I mean, makes sense, but, you know, I don't know. If there's anything to expect from this game in terms of like soundtracks and voice effects and stuff like that, that I would care about in any capacity, at least on my personal take on that is that if you're gonna continuously optimize and stuff like that, then one of the points that I would recommend in really making any major changes would be probably, if and this is where I think it depends on really like in the scope of things, like what is most important in the development team's update cycle. I don't know if voice effects are so important, at least in the grand scheme of things. I think it's nice to have a nice soundtrack. Obviously, the soundtrack that they have looping is always nice. But, if you go over, you click on this icon, you go to settings, and from here you can decipher between link general, and you can change the music settings. I don't hate to like bash on this in any capacity, but I don't know if there's anything really to put too much stress on. But I feel like if you're gonna add like a sound setting, one to cut the music off and another to cut off like everything else, I think it would be better if they actually put like maybe so much more like additional controls over like, oh, I don't want to hear, say, like, the same song in repetition. Like maybe give me an option to like play different music, like, or give me an opportunity to like have variety, because that is something that I can see where people could find that kind of nice. Like, okay, you go into battle, a different song plays. You're in defense, you're gathering, a different song plays. Don't get me wrong, I liken that to like Minecraft, but it's, and I say Minecraft because Minecraft is, it's they have a main menu, then they've got like every game's different, but obviously if you have like music that complements the gameplay in some capacity and it's not distracting and it actually either helps bring the player into the game, then I'm all for it. But yeah, overall, that's those were the two questions that I was given. Now, again, part of the reason why I know about them, I'm not a developer, I'm not anything along those lines. I'm just a creator. I'm a community creator for the game. So, in case any of you were a little bit puzzled as to how do I know why I know what I know in advance, now you know. Uh, but in short, there is a code that, for a handful of you, if you stuck around this long, then you're in fucking, like, you're in luck. Because there is some stuff to be got from the code. If the code is of some value to you and you want to kind of dabble in on it, then I'll tell you a little bit about it. Let's just say that it ends on September 3rd. So you do want to use this code. It's on a time clock, all right? The other thing is you might be thinking, well, then what the heck is even in the code? What am I gonna get? Where's my freebie? I'm gonna skip the video and get the freebie. Hey, look. Look. Okay? For the countless number of people out there that skip for freebies, I'm not gonna make it easy for you. You're gonna have to watch this whole video. I'm sorry. But hey, that's just how I roll. Anyway, I'm just gonna lay it to you flat though. Uh, One of the things that has been going on, that I've been paying some close attention to, right, is kind of the conversation between like individual players fighting other players, and then also kind of the relationship between alliances. Now, as you might expect, I'm in Sector 66. I'm a marshal. We just recently wiped out PK1. So we wiped them out, took their forts, took over the resource nodes. Now, by no means are we getting access to like the heavy duty level 5s and heavy duty nodes. All right, we don't own the fort. We don't go after anything of big. And part of the reason why is because in our sector, we basically know who everyone is. Like all the major alliances are all in cahoots. All right. Now, I think this is something that I think a lot of alliances and sectors, if you aren't already doing, I think you should. Because the benefit of having a giant coalition is that now when it's like, oh yeah, this one alliance is stepping out of bounds, then it's not the one alliance that's going to step in. It's all of them. It's like you wind up inviting an entire colossal hell upon yourself if you aren't prepared to yeah, if you mess with one of us, you fight with all of us kind of mentality, right? Now, there is going to be some things that are going to be changing here fairly soon. I'm not going to say anything particularly, but let's just say some alliances may or may not be losing territory here pretty soon. Um, without really saying anyone in particular, But the main thing in question, right? At least in our, for what I've been doing anyway, right? And then this is something that when it comes to Warhammer 40K, especially playing this game, I mean, if you're playing it free to play, obviously you gotta strive to build up and consistently level your character up. And something that I'm doing really poorly on is actually getting character XP. A lot of people are recommending that if you are someone that is strictly falling behind like I am, and your player level's really behind, the one thing you can do to actually improve that considerably is actually to use up AP every day. So if you go over here, go to Chaos Forces or Hostile Fleets and just do that constantly, or even do Breach Assault for that matter, you're actually leveling your character up, which ultimately puts you in a more advantageous position, which has its benefits. Now, I've been VIP 12 for only like what seems like a week or so. And one of the things that I'm going to say right now is once you get legendary utility fragments, you buy those up all the time. I want to grab more of the honorificas, but obviously I've been buying up resources, trying to keep myself growing. Now, one thing that it has helped, at least a little bit in my experience, all right, is you need to know who the hell is gathering in your sector. Because the people that are gathering are ultimately going to make really nice fresh duty targets. So something you can do is you can actually click on this little icon up here at the top left, the little gold star. All right. And you can actually save coordinates. If you don't know how, it's just right here, right below the character name. You click on here and you can save it as a personal marker. Now, the nice thing is now if I want to, I can go to my list here, and I know that anybody on this list is more than likely somebody that gathers at precise, whatever time of the day, whatever it may be. It's not important, but what matters is whether or not do they have resources that I can steal. If they do, I'm going to go out and take it. And that's kind of the routine that I've been using for the last couple of days. And I'm working at, about an extra million or two. But it just depends on, if I go up and random around, I can wipe out entire groups of players, and just steal like 40 to 50,000 a pop. But it's when you go after those individual gathering players that you'll wind up with like a few million, and it just saves so much time. So I do highly recommend that you just kind of, pick out where your active players are and then wipe them out because that just makes your life a lot easier. Overall, though, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe, and if you haven't already, because again, I do a lot of Warhammer 40K, and it's been kind of something that I've been enjoying so far. A lot of people who've been on the channel, you guys know I've played a lot of Lords Mobile, and it's not that I have quit, I still play it. Of course, every once in a while, if you go looking for the Google Shorts, you'll Google Shorts, YouTube Shorts, you will see my journey with my jalapeno plants and Carolina Reapers, and basically just my overly, hot, spicy plant peppers that I got growing. So, In any case, any of that interests you, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys to the next video.